This is going to be my number 3 of telling people the point of this channel. I have to do this really quick, but, oh yeah, and I may sound kind of sick because, ignore background noise. After I got my tonsils removed, I just really can't take cold air or hot air, so my throat gets really itchy and sore easily. But yeah, so, anywho, I do want people to keep in mind that the point of this channel is not to be a quote unquote Debbie Downer that gets on here to quote unquote ruin people's day with my trauma rants. Because I know like some people may feel like that. Then of course there's the people that are really Leviathan filled and prideful that just feel like people like me are just making America or people in general look bad and all that bull crap. Which I don't even care about that because like I always say, these videos are people who have been through these things or just are talking about them and trying to like help people or give advice to people who have been through it or get people together. They're not for the people that are still in cognitive dissonance la la land, or for the people who are probably cointellpro that get in comment sections claiming that these things don't go on. I'm not here to prove anything to anybody. There's nothing to prove because all this stuff has always been pretty obvious. Especially the lower level branches of the Cash for Kids system, they've always been out in the open because they're literally funded by taxpayer dollars. So I'm not trying to like prove something to people that always want quote unquote receipts and statistics and that other stupid little stuff. I started making these videos specifically, well, it kind of goes back to the whole evidence channel thing because that's really when I started. But this channel specifically was supposed to be to help people who are in these situations or have been understand what's actually going on and that they really are being abused for no reason. And it's not because they're quote unquote bad or insane or retarded or any of those other labels that go along with that. But also, I make these videos so that way people who actually are like-minded and want to come together and do something about these things can do it. And we could like talk about it. And I know like there's going to be some disagreements. There's definitely going to have to be rules put in place because you can't let in everybody, obviously, for things like this. And some people have really sideways motives. But that's really what this is for. Not just because I just want to talk all the time or something. And I really hope this is making sense. But that's what this channel is for. I don't believe in proving things to people that they already know, but are either ignoring because they're a part of or have contributed to, or because they just want to live in cognitive dissonance, brainwash la la land to be able to go to sleep at night. And like I always say, that's pretty ignorant anyway because the things that go on in the world only happen because people let it happen. And I know that like we would obviously not be able to stop everything and save everybody because things are only going to keep getting worse anyway. But things are definitely like coming more forward now because of the fact that we're in the judgment dispensation, and we have been since like the beginning of this year. I'm pretty sure we've been in the judgment dispensation, so things are just going to keep going more downhill for a lot of reasons. Also with the agendas being pushed more, but still, even as things go downhill, there's still going to be the little remnant of people who not even are just seeking Yahweh's truth, but are like actually still have empathy in the heart and stuff. So that's who this is for. Because I really do feel like we should really be coming together and actually helping people in these types of situations, or really any bad situation. And not only that, people should be coming together, like-minded people should be coming together in general. Because, I mean, there's already the whole planned divide and conquer civil war that's about to go down uh, eventually. Especially with all the left-right mind hurting bullcrap. So people who have some sense wait a minute, the people left who have some sense really need to come together in general, not just for like helping people and all that, but in general. Because, having a community is really important. But yeah, and I'm planning on making like 2 more videos going over some screenshots from the whole situation with the homeless 14-year-old. And of course there's plenty of people out here that are in those situations, but he's just getting on social media. He really shouldn't be. Like, if you're out there and you live in that area, please tell him to stop getting on camera. Because, like, he's putting himself at risk in so many different ways by that. And this kind of goes into something else I want to say. You can be your own person and seek your purpose and all that. And you can not go along with the societal norms. But if you're like doing drugs and you're running around abusing yourself and others and having sex with everybody, and I'm speaking in general, I'm not talking even about the situation with him, because for one, he's pretty much just getting kidnapped and saved by people. So obviously, I'm not talking about him. This is in general. Just wanted to say that. If you're doing all that, you're still falling into the little cycles and in the downhill spiral that people commonly fall into. And it's not even just because of like growing up or being in a bad traumatic situation anymore. A lot of people fall into these cycles just because it's so normalized to do drugs and run around having sex with people and all types of stuff and robbing people. And you don't want to do that. You really don't. And if you are in a lay low to late teen situation, do know that it is possible, but you have to really be for yourself. You cannot be desperate. You cannot get caught up in the whole looking for a parent figure and boyfriend/girlfriend at the same time trap. All these things are cycles that people commonly fall into. I've been meaning to make a video specifically about the common trauma cycles, or the common cycles that the enemy will use to keep anointed/prophetic people and other people that are in bad situations, but specifically those types, from ever meeting their true purpose and potential. So, like, after trauma, that's one of the first things people commonly uh, get pregnant by some random person who doesn't give a crap about them when they're like 13 or something. And then that leads to something else, and then they commonly become a narcissist, or a quote-unquote narcissist, because I don't really like any of those labels. But they end up with the Jezebel, Leviathan, and other spirits, or they end up becoming a drug dealer, and then that leads them down a bad path. And then they end up in jail, maybe. All those different things. Those are all cycles and traps that are just there to keep you from meeting your true potential and purpose, and to just screw you up and have you lose your mind in the end. And that's what you really want to avoid. And that's the thing. It's possible to get through these situations. Nothing's ever easy, but you definitely don't have to just say, okay, I'm just gonna let myself go. And that's the thing. Kind of like I was just saying, these things are so normalized these days where some people don't even see it as letting themselves go. People just see that as life and living life and how people are, but you really don't have to do those things, and you shouldn't. And so, yeah, I really hope this made sense. But, anywho, And that's what this channel is about. Another brief summary. I have like 2 other videos, or maybe more than that, where I go over the point of this channel. I want people to keep in mind this isn't about me. I mean, I really try to not make it about me because I'm mostly halfway or more out of, obviously I'm out of my previous situation of the Cash for Kids system. I escaped that situation a while ago. And depending on how long you've been watching this channel, if any of those people are even still here, I doubt it. You would also know that I used to be known as a person that was spreading awareness to things that were happening to me and other people in the Cash for Kids system, and even people who like died due to different things, them falling into the wrong path because of things that were being done to them. That came out kind of drifty. But to make a long story short, you would know I was known as a person that had 2,000 abuse evidence videos of a lot of different things, even things that were happening to other people. And I was trying to like spread awareness to those things. But the point is, this is about everybody. Because I know that like, I don't even want to go into that, but this really isn't about me. Just keep that in your head. That's the point of what I'm trying to say right now. Because there's people who are still in these situations. There's people who are still running and dodging and hiding from the Cash for Kids system. There's people who are still locked up in TTIs being forced to eat their own throw up. And a lot of other things that are honestly way worse than that, to where the throw up thing kind of is whatever. So that's what this is about. And this isn't just because I want to talk about things either. I don't want... Talking is nothing. A lot of people are talking. A lot of people have been talking. And that's... it's something, but it's nothing. Because nobody's coming together to do something. That's my point. So, yeah. Keep this in mind. Okay, actually, I thought that I should, add this little part in. So, hold up. Dang, wait a minute. A little bit more to add onto the whole abuse evidence thing. So, obviously, I try to just not mention that the whole situation happened anymore because of a lot of obvious reasons that are probably obvious. But something that I wanted to mention revolving around that, though, is that I used to mention this all the time. The point of the videos was because I was still kind of in that cognitive dissonance phase that maybe there was help, and that if I just proved that I wasn't retarded and other bull crap, that then I could actually get quote unquote help. And the reason that a lot of abused kids will fall into that mindset in the first place is because we know that CPS is another branch of the Cash for Kids system, even if we don't have that term. And I'm not trying to brag or anything, but I do see myself as the first person who really has connected the Cash for Kids system as I guess I could call it the spider web that it is. Because it's not just CPS, and it's not just higher level trafficking that people won't even admit actually happens and really is what it is. It's more than that. But we commonly have this idea in our head that maybe we'll be lucky and we'll be adopted by some good family in CPS. It's laughable. But we have that magical thinking in our head. And so that's what makes us feel like if we just do this and do that, and we record this and record that, which is why I eventually ended up with 2,000 videos over the course of not even a long time. It wasn't even 7 months. And that's why that happened. Still a long story, though. But reality is, just like people eventually helped me understand, it's not that people don't believe you, and it's not that people believe any of the things that your abusers say. People really don't care. And the people who do somewhat halfway care, they don't really want to get involved because they're scared. Like people would tell me, that's between you, your mom, and your dad. I'm minding my business, blah, 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 blah. Like the mandated reporters would come and tell me, your situation and what's going on is really obvious. In fact, that's what really helped me break free from the gaslighting. Other people, including mandated reporters, would come to me and tell me about how obvious the situation is, and they would bring it to my attention, and because they were wondering if I really saw things for what they were. And my point of mentioning all this is that you have to be the one to save yourself. But I also know that people who know about this stuff and have been through it, we need to come together and we need to try to do something about this. But keep in mind that for right now, if you're in these situations, or if you're like in your transitional period like I am from getting out of one of these situations, you have to be the person to save yourself. You have to seek Yahweh for your purpose and all that and what you're supposed to be doing, because 9 times out of 10, the reason that all this stuff happened is because you were anointed or prophetic in the first place. And all the things that happened, the trauma and all that, the Cash for Kids system was, what do people call it, a playbook to try to mess you up and keep you from ever meeting your true purpose. So you have to be the person to seek the truth and help yourself and get yourself in a better predicament, not fall into the bad crowd, not start doing shrooms, not start dating people. Please don't do that. If you're still broken and messed up, don't date people. That's a whole nother video though. And I'm saying this because I've seen this go wrong with a lot of people. It's a miracle that I had the mindset that I have, because I never really did all that. I did have like some abusive friendships in the past, but I left that stuff alone too. So yeah, for right now, you have to start making a plan in your own head to make your situation better and to save yourself. Because you can't sit around waiting for some hero that really doesn't exist. And definitely not the Cash for Kids system branches. Because CPS in and of itself is a human trafficking organization. It's also in and of itself being homeless if you're in the foster care system. And you may end up completely on the streets in the foster care system. It's a big thing in the West Coast. I talk about that pretty often. I have videos about how, like, in New York, when the foster placements run out of time or whatever in the world, some stupid stuff, the kids just have to group up together and sleep under bridges until CPS finds another placement for them. And of course, if that doesn't happen, they throw you in jail or some mental facility until they find somewhere else to place you, or until they forget that they even placed you in the institution they locked you in. In some states, I think in like Florida, they put the kids in hotel rooms, but the kids also don't have their vital records or anything, so they can't get a job. So then they're in a hotel room, but they can't eat. So, yeah. What else do I have to say? But yeah, moral of the story is, it's not, this isn't happening because of something you did when you were, I don't know, a toddler or a newborn. It's not your fault. Don't get on don't get in interviews, I mean. Don't do interviews, quote unquote interviews. They're exploitative and they're just going to make things worse if you're doing the lay low till 18 thing. Because for one, it puts you on the map. So like with this kid, if he was to get the money to actually get on a bus or something to go to a safer area and get far away from Hollywood, because he's in a really risky area, he may not even be able to do that because more people know about him, because he's on so many different he's in so many different interviews or really documentary type videos, and I really don't know why he thinks this is a good idea. A lot of people just don't know any better, But you'd never do stuff like that when you're in this type of situation. And what else? What else did I have to say? Wait a minute. So yeah, don't remember what I was saying, but back to the point though. This isn't happening because you need to record a whole bunch of crazy bull crap on a daily basis to the point where it just becomes a coping mechanism and you have nothing else to do because you need to quote unquote prove something to somebody. People already know what's going on. There's this thing I used to say all the time back on the evidence channels about people's different situations. When people are in these types of situations, everybody knows what's going on. The neighbors know, the schools know. Wait a minute. The school knows. The family knows, obviously. The family friends know. The police department knows. Of course, CPS knows. Everybody knows. No one does anything because people don't care and other people are too scared and they're trying to live in this cognitive dissonance, butterfly, la la land, go to sleep at night thing. And of course, mandated reporters, like I mention all the time, they are cash for kids system staff. Just remember that. And let's say that you have a whole bunch of videos and CPS actually does do something, then what? Then you're in the cash for kids system getting trafficked and drugged on neurotoxins and getting all types of labels put on you, and you're getting put in TTIs where you're being chained, handcuffed to those old radiator heater things where when you touch them you get burnt. You don't want that. You don't want somebody to be getting paid while you're homeless. And what else was it? Just ignore that because I have a lot of mucus buildup as usual, but I really just can't take cold air. There was something else I was supposed to be getting at. Oh my gosh. Every single video. Oh yeah, I remember what I was supposed to be saying. So, let's say your social oh my gosh. Ignore that. Your social worker really did want to help. Her supervisor is in charge of what she can and can't do. In fact, I remember near the end of my situation, there was a lot of stuff going on, but I don't want to bring too much stuff back up. But near the end of my situation, also things with obviously other relatives that was going on to them. Wait a minute. I'm trying to figure out how to summarize this. So the situation during the time where CPS snitched about the videos and got a lot deleted. That social worker was actually the only social worker I ever had that didn't seem like she eats kids. She was actually really decent, but for one, this counselor I had, the one that always claimed that she cared so much and she was going to help, and I really regret telling her that I even made it out of the situation. She was talking about how happy she was that I got out and that I escaped, but she's also scared that I'm going to try to sue them for not doing anything. But anywho, that social worker really was looking for the input of different mandated reporters, that there was even videos and stuff of them claiming that they were going to help, talking about how they knew what was going on and how they felt a weird vibe about my situation and my abusers before they ever even met me. But of course, they wouldn't do anything, and this social worker's supervisor, of course, wouldn't let her do anything. And that social worker was so upset about not being able to help that she quit. And then also, let's say you do get in, they don't have anywhere to put you. Where are you going to go? A mental facility, a juvenile justice facility, TTI, a group home, or back home. There was this video that went viral some years ago where there's a girl people around her would claim that they didn't believe that her dad was really beating on her and her dog. And so she put a hidden camera in her room and she got a video of her dad telling her that he was going to kill her and her dog, and then he was beating on the dog because the dog tried to protect her. He was obviously a very demon-possessed dude with the Jezebel, Leviathan, and other spirits. I can sense that one easily, especially by people's actions, but long story. So, she recorded it, and the video actually ended up going viral. And of course, all people ever care about in situations like that is the dog. That's all people ever care about. I had something similar happen to me where people were like, you need to save the dog. You need to call the animal shelter. You need to sneak and feed the dog. Okay, but what about me and my siblings though? But yeah, because now I'm getting mad just thinking about that. Anyway, CPS and the police did get involved for a little while, only because the situation got traction, because the video literally went viral. Luckily, the videos I used to have, people never really saw them. They never really got more than like 20 views. The dog videos got over 1,000, but of course all people cared about was the dog. But that was never the goal anyway, because that's getting views and stuff like that is embarrassing. But it was just to keep evidence from when I was still in that cognitive dissonance state. So anywho, she went in CPS custody for a little while, but of course she ended up living with her dad again because there's nowhere for her to go. So that's another thing. And that goes back into the whole community thing, people needing to come together, because they're really, like, even if somebody really, okay, wait a minute. Even if these quote-unquote mandated reporters really did want to do something, they can only do but so much. Like, I've only ever heard, like, one story of a teacher adopting one of their students who was in foster care, and they're really not even allowed to do that anyway, but he was able to get away with it. But most people, they don't really want to do that, and even if they did, they have, like, all these fears and stuff, and most people aren't really willing to like really fight for some kid to get a court case. And the thing is, everyone already knows these lawyers and judges, these are KKK, Freemason, Luciferians. All those are different Luciferian branches. Oh my gosh, I'm messing this up. Ignore that too. Because all that came down from the pagan Roman Catholic Church. That's a whole nother story, but the KKK is just another branch of Freemasonry, and it's not even really about white supremacy isn't what people think it is. It's not really about them ignore background noise. It's not really about people who are white supremacists lifting each other up. For one, there's different levels to it. That's why I commonly say the white supremacists at the top and the ones at the bottom who are mad at the ones at the top. And also, it goes into the whole purity thing, which really just goes back to child abuse too, because like Aleister Crowley said, one of the best child abuse rituals you can perform is essaying a toddler who's a white boy. That's what he said, because of the whole white purity thing. That's really what this goes back to. So people really don't, this is really irrelevant kind of, but white supremacy is not what people think it is. It's not about them, quote unquote, loving each other. That's just, it's anti-humanism. Anti-humanism always goes back to hating God too, or hating Yahweh. I don't really like the ineffable name doctrine stuff, but that's what it goes back to, because hating people is about hating their creator. It really goes back to that. If you hate somebody, you don't really have a problem with them. You have a problem with their creator. And of course, this battle isn't against flesh and blood anyway. And you already know that verse, maybe, maybe not. So, yeah, that's what all that is. I just wanted to, like, mention that as a side thing, because it just comes to my mind when I think about the whole thing with the lawyers, because they're, KKK, Freemason, child abusers themselves. They love abusers. That's why they only ever give dads custody when the dad is abusing the kids sexually. Because, of course, people who are into these doctrines, they're against men, real men, another story. But keep this in mind, because we all really need to come together in general, like-minded people, and figure out what to do about different things. Because really what I want for people is for people to be happy and be loved, not just feel loved, actually be loved, not by somebody with the fake love, boyfriend and father figure at the same time stuff, none of that. Real love, real community, and for people to meet their purpose, because too many people, especially anointed or prophetic people, end up completely losing their mind due to all the trauma they go through, and also just not knowing how to handle their gifting, because people go through a lot of indoctrination that makes them not believe that people actually have purpose, especially going back to the whole evolution thing and the whole that really started off with on some racial stuff, because the real theory of evolution is that the quote-unquote white person was the last link and they were the real actual humans, but I'm not going to go into that. So they changed it so everybody would accept it, and they pretty much tell people that we're all just monkeys with no purpose and nobody matters, babies don't matter, men don't matter, women don't matter, screw everybody, nobody has purpose, souls aren't real, so traumatizing people doesn't affect them, all that bull crap. And yeah, because of course, even though people like dogs more than humans, that's the funny thing, but of course when people believe these doctrines that everybody's just animals and that nobody has purpose and nothing matters, they don't see anything wrong with running around hitting people in the head with baseball bats and stuff. So that really goes into one, lacking empathy, then lacking sympathy. That goes into a lot of things, actually. But that's just Luciferian doctrine anyway. But yeah, so keep this in mind. That's all I can really say. Remember that I would like for people to actually leave comments about, I don't know, people coming together. Somebody make some group chat or something for people to come together and talk about fixing issues and helping people. And we should all really come together, like-minded people, because of course a lot of people are going to try to come in on some weird stuff and some mess, and that will definitely have to be like separated. I know some people say that they just don't care who comes in and who tries to get together, as long as people's mind is on helping the kids, but I don't really agree with that to a certain extent, because people are going to try to come in on some weird philosophies. But